Welcome to 1 Million Cups, Kansas City. How is everybody this morning? Good? Are we excited? My name is Courtney, and I'm one of your community organizers, along with Milton, Stephanie, Zach, and Anna. So we would like to welcome you to 1 Million Cups, Kansas City. Who's here for the first time? Raise your hand. Wow. Thank you for visiting us today. I know we have a group from Russia is associated with Global Ties, so they're over here. And then I believe we have a group of corporate partnerships or something with Sporting KC. Are you guys here? Welcome as well. So thank you for visiting. The way the program works is we will have two companies present, each for 6 minutes. At the end of 6 minutes, we will open it up to Q&A from our expert panel in the audience. So if you have a question for the presenter, please raise your hand and we will come around with a mic. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves? Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Good morning, Lawrence Andre, personal leadership trainer with the John Maxwell team on an epic quest to innovate in the professional development space using many of the entrepreneurial skills I've learned in rooms like this. I'm particularly interested in anyone using lean startup methodologies. If you're a practitioner, hit me up. I'd love to have a conversation.
Good morning. My name is Ari Kern. I am with the Sprint Accelerator. I work with community and programs. So a lot of you probably know about Techstars, but we do a lot of other things. And actually, a little plug, currently we're accepting applications for founders into our 6-month mentor network. So if you are a startup that would love to be mentored, let me know. Also looking for mentors from the corporate side. So any ties you may have, if you want to get involved that way, we'd love to talk to you. Thanks.
So we will get started with our first presenter today. I would like to welcome Kyle and Michael from Lifted Spirits.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me okay? Excellent. Well, I'm Kyle Claypool. This is my partner, Michael Stuckey.
Hello.
And we are two of the 3 founders of Lifted Spirits Distillery. Our 3rd founder might be in the room somewhere. We're not sure. Might be in the room sometime soon. That actually, I believe, is him right there.
Walking in. Everybody point.
So we thought we had about 10 minutes. We actually have 6, so we're going to move fast. We'll just hit our backgrounds real quick. I come from a marketing background, started a web marketing company in college. Made my way through school building websites. Eventually built up a team, sold my company to Global Prairie, spent some time running their digital strategy group here in Kansas City. Really missed building things myself and starting from the ground up. So decided to pursue my next adventure, which is where this guy comes in.
Hello. Actually, we know each other. His wife and I did theater in high school, and I started out as a theatrical design and Russian major, and then moved on to theology and experiential education. Experimental. And I was all about, with everything my theme has been people's stories, creating stories, telling old stories, and bringing people together in a genuine community, and building that up and building culture.
And then Darren, our 3rd partner, is our CFO. He did not get us a picture in time, so this is his Facebook picture. He's not actually a dog. So the 3 of us got together. Darren kind of brings some of the financial acumen and background to make sure that we're taking care of our money and our investors. But really, this is how the whole thing started.
And the whole thing started with, first, lots of settlers of Catan. Our families got together at each other's homes a lot, played games with each other, kids came. It's been a great journey. And along the lines, I wanted a hobby. And I wanted a hobby that really brought people together. And I had noticed that nothing really brings people together like a really good drink. And so, allegedly, of course, I taught myself distilling over the course of about 7 years, and started making, at first, not so good spirits, and then started making better and better and better spirits, which is where the 2 drinks come in, and Kyle had an obligation there, of course.
So the thing is, home distillation is illegal. So as his friend, I had a moral obligation to destroy whatever he produced as quickly and efficiently as possible. So I've been his primary taste tester, and just watching out for him. But at one point, Mike came to me and he said, I'd love to start a distillery. I love what I'm doing. I love producing these things and sharing with friends. I want to do this. I said, Mike, you're an idiot. And
That's censored.
I think you're a little drunk. So I told him I was going to go out and I was going to do some research, and I was going to explain why this is not something that we should ever pursue. And I was totally wrong. There are so many trends converging on craft spirits and craft distillation right now. The whole foodie movement is shifting not just from food and farm to table, but to spirits and beverages. People want to know what they're drinking. Cocktails and spirits are on just an unbelievable trajectory right now, taking market share away from beer and wine. People want a great whiskey. Gin saw its biggest year ever in 2015 and is only going to continue to grow. The idea of knowing what's in your drink, where all the ingredients came from, there are just so many things converging. And then Kansas City is just kicking ass right now. And there's so much pride in this town. And people want to buy local and support local business. And across the United States right now, this is the growth trajectory of the craft spirits industry. So it's been growing 40 to 50% year over the year for the last 5 years, and we're not expecting that to slow down. So being the rational business guy, I did the macro research. I'm like, actually, yeah, let's do this thing. So we started looking for a building, and we really decided that the East Crossroads was where we want to be. There's so much creativity and energy and collaborative spirit in that part of town. We ended up coming across this building, an absolute diamond in the rough. Many people said, no, keep looking. But this is going to be home in a couple months. We've been renovating for the past year, and we can't be more excited for the way that's all coming together.
So now is the time for me to not get into too much detail. If you want more detail, catch me after. But our process, we're really about, within comes culture and bringing farm to table and all of that together, we're really about vertical integration. And that starts with, we have an actual farmer that we're partnering with, and this is actually a picture of our farmer and his son putting our next crop of wheat in the ground. This was a week and a half ago. And so he is growing and providing all of our grain, from wheat to millet to barley to rye. We're talking about oat, doing some good experiments. And he's actually helped us pick out an exact genetic strain of wheat that'll grow here well and will produce superior spirits. And then I won't get into the details here as much as I want to express that we have deep roots in traditional processes and melding that with modern science, which comes to fruit in the way we age our spirits, the way I make cuts, the way we ferment, the grains we use, and bringing all of that together and having really great vertical integration in our product.
So there are a lot of distilleries that buy some product from factories and make it into their own product. We've decided to take a very strategic approach to say, from the seed we are selecting to what goes into the bottle, to how we're sourcing the barrels, how the wood in the barrels is aged and dried. There are just hundreds and hundreds of decisions we've made throughout the process where we want to control every aspect of it to know that we're producing the best possible quality spirit. Here are just a few shots of our primary still that's not quite put together yet, but this is a 1,000-liter kettle, which is roughly large enough to fit 4 children.
We checked.
We checked. This piece goes on top of the still, and you can see these are copper bubble caps and plates. So as the still heats up, the liquid hits every one of these plates, and we've got 20 plates where at each plate we're getting an additional level of purity. This is how we produce our vodkas, our gins, and again, we don't have time to really dive into that process. Anything you want to touch on there? Or
I better not, I'll go on forever.
Hours. So our starting lineup.
So starting lineup, I'm in general passionate about just great spirits, from everything to gin and vodka to whiskey. Especially, I love the absinthe has a place in my heart. And some people you're looking at that going, isn't absinthe legal? No, it's not. We will be producing a real traditional absinthe. And that was a fun learning experience, let me tell you. So ancient texts are fun. Anyway, so our starting lineup, we'll have at least one gin to start, a vodka, wheat whiskey, and absinthe. And then from there, we'll be building on other grain whiskeys, and Kyle will explain a little bit more.
Yeah, so for instance, a hopped wheat whiskey is something that probably none of you here have tried, but imagine like a really great hoppy beer distilled into a whiskey, and then with those caramel vanilla notes that come out of the barrel, it is just a wonderful thing.
That we could have a really long conversation.
Yes, hopefully over drinks. So other specialty spirits, we're talking with a lot of other companies in the Crossroads and around town about collaborating on coffee-based spirits, tea-based spirits, some cool vanilla things. But also we're exploring some collaborations. One of the things that we're really passionate about is this concept of being a community distillery. The distillery used to be part of the community and kind of turned into this big factory mass-produced thing and lost that hometown charm and feel. And we want to kind of bring that back. And part of that journey is we've actually started talking with other people who have allegedly been producing their own spirits. They've got a fourth-generation family recipe that they can't actually make or sell beyond, their homes. And we are talking about opening up our space so that we can incubate their brands, let them come in and produce their spirits with our distiller and our equipment, because startup costs, it's been a 2-year journey for us to get here. Not everybody can make that kind of commitment, but if we can lend our facility and our resources and let somebody produce their own product in our space, that's something that we're really excited about, because we want this to be a place for the community. Beyond that, what you're seeing here is our tasting room. We'll have high-end craft cocktails. We'll have an infusion bar as well. So we'll have our spirits with, you name it, everything from various fruits to herbal, botanical blends.
Skittles or marshmallows if you're really feeling it.
On this wall, we'll have an apothecary counter with jars of different dried ingredients so that you can come in and experiment and create your own infusions.
You know how churches have chili cook-offs? I'm working with having an infusion off, where people bring in their creations.
Yeah. So here's a quick look from our production area. We've got lots of space to grow. What you can see here is our still's going to be sitting right here, and there's a 2-story cutout here, so the columns go up about 15 feet to the event space upstairs, where we're going to have windows cut so you can look down on the still from the event space. As you can see, the event space itself still needs a little bit of work. We're going to be putting in new flooring and cleaning everything up, but that's slated to be done in the next 3 to 4 weeks at this point. So as far as the event space goes, we've got room for about 200, maybe a little more than that, for weddings, special events. We want to do all sorts of fun things for the community, bring local artists in to exhibit. Again, we're in the Crossroads, and there's so much of that going on. Just want it to be a great place for people to come and hang out. So one last thing real quick. If you go to distillingkc.com right now, you can click to tweet a message, and we will be picking a few prizes to hand out to people here today if you follow the instructions on that page. So we'll hand out some of these whiskey glasses and a couple tickets to our to-be-announced VIP pre-launch event. So you've got until the end of our Q&A session to do that.
Thank you. Game night at your house must be a lot of fun.
It gets interesting.
I can see that. One of the things I'm very interested in is when an entrepreneur is starting a business, there's usually it's good advice to go slow, to kind of understand the market, to validate a product with the market. But in this instance, it doesn't seem like you get that luxury. Now, I heard you say you spent 7 years getting good at Distillery, so you had the opportunity to do that, and that doesn't cost a lot of money. And you did some market research before you started the business. I heard that, Kyle. But then you have to really invest a lot of capital. You have to kind of go all in up front on this. And I'm curious what that decision-making process looked like for you.
So you mentioned that you come from a lean startup background. I'm a big fan of the lean startup too. There are some major legal challenges that make that a very difficult proposition in distilling. For instance, in order to get your federal license to produce alcohol, you have to have a lease on a space and you have to have already purchased your main pieces of equipment, which means you've got to make a multi-year commitment just before you can tell the government that this is something that you want to pursue. So we did a ton of research. We started gathering some investors, mostly friends and family and colleagues, and sourced the equipment that we were looking for, decided to start smaller on some things, knowing that we could kind of mitigate some of our risk and then in certain areas cost effectively scale up our equipment without having to start from scratch. So, for the most part, it's doing what we can to keep those expenses low, while knowing that we had to make a big commitment a year and a half ago to make this thing happen.
And it's really helped having experience putting it together, learning to do it yourself, obviously with help from science and tradition that we talked about, but I have a very particular framework for how to start lean with our equipment and also scale it quickly. And if you wanted to go into that in more detail, I'd love to do that.
Awesome. Well, I loved your presentation, your story, and I definitely agree you hit on this. Kansas City is hot right now, and actually the last several weeks at 1 Million Cups there have been some kind of alcohol presenter.
Yeah.
So, how would you differentiate? How do you stand out as, how is your product superior? And then two parts to this question is, how do you work with those other competitors? Are you friendlies? Does that help you? Does that hurt you?
Can I answer the second question first?
Maybe.
At least a couple of the other distillers in town, we call each other the co-opetition. For example, this week I'll be getting together with most of the distillers here in Kansas City. It would be all, but they can't all attend at the same time. But and they're coming to see our space just as we've gone to see their spaces. And so this week we're slated for the two in the Crossroads, and we work together to help each other where we can and to make really great products overall in Kansas City because there's so much great market share available.
Yeah, so for instance, Tomstown's just about 6 blocks away from us, and we may or may not have driven a forklift to Tomstown to help them when they had some equipment problems at one point. So there are a lot of great people doing great things in town. We are firm believers that there's enough market share out there that if we can convince more people to buy local Kansas City stuff, there's, a rising tide is going to float all boats here. As far as how we differentiate ourselves, I think just the fact that we are so open and transparent. We want people to come in and go on these tours and get their hands dirty, actually seeing things coming off the machine and feel the grain. And we're planning on having events where you can actually learn how to distill and make your own whiskey, and take a cask home and have it in your bar at home, or do that as a corporate event. So in the boardroom, there's a cask of whiskey that the partners all made together. So we think that by connecting on a personal level, that's really going to set us apart a little bit. But as far as the products go, there's so much to gin, for instance. Do you just want to touch on gin?
I will try and do so very briefly. There is a lot of tradition that goes into the making of gin. And there's also a lot of science that's come up in the last 100 years or so. And I say 100 years in science, people go, okay, whatever. But that's for distilling, that's very new. And so, for example, a lot of gins taste the same because they all kind of do it the same. They all do what they say you should do. But actually understanding the way the botanicals interact with liquid alcohol or as a vapor and how to balance those processes. For example, I was working on my first recipe for lifted spirits, and I was using some recipes at first that I'd picked up traditionally when I was learning, and it just wasn't working for me. So I distilled each botanical by itself using different methods to figure out what is it contributing, what is it doing, and then from that experience and knowledge and experiment, went to reconstructing the botanical in a recipe and a technique that makes a superior product. And so I think that process of starting with tradition and having a good scientific process of putting everything through trial is going to really produce something that's different and superior.
All right, we're going to go ahead and open it up to questions from the crowd. Just toss your hand up and I will come to you. Unless there are no hands at this point. You guys have answered every question. There we go. All right.
Hi. So you have talked a lot about your process and what your plans are, and I see you are only launching in June. Mm-hmm. But when I travel from city to city, it seems like there are a lot of people with your basic idea, which is to start a craft distillery. And I don't know how many there are in Kansas City, mm-hmm. but I think it's inevitable there will be even more. So as part of your business plan, how do you plan to cope with that? You haven't said much about what your competition does. You somehow have to find a way to stand out above the rest, both from a marketing point of view as well as a product point of view.
Sure. Great question. So part of that is some of the things that we're really excited and passionate about are not the types of products that the rest of the competition are releasing. So, you know, there are a lot of bourbons out there. There are not nearly as many wheat whiskeys. So it fills a different place, a different niche. There are not a lot of craft absinthes in the country. There are less than 10. It's a little bit of a niche market, but we think that we could be, you know, one of the best absinthes in the country potentially. So the other thing is when you look at the craft beer industry, there was this massive growth curve of craft breweries, and then it sort of tapered off as they sort of hit critical mass. We are sort of right at the hockey stick up curve on that in the distilling world. So we expect that there will be a lot more distilleries coming in, but there's still a lot of room in this market for small players to carve out their space. And we think with his knowledge and background and skill set and my marketing background, we think that we'll be in a pretty good position to defend ourselves.
One over here to your right, guys.
Just to follow up on that a little bit, do you mind walking us through a little bit more of the brand DNA around the Lifted Spirits brand and really how you got to the end game with your logo and brand?
Yeah, so that's been a very drawn-out, lengthy process. The name Lifted Spirits came fairly early when we were just talking about what is it that we want people to feel and experience when they interact with the brand. We want people to have just a great, positive, uplifting and enjoyable experience, whether it's, you know, buying a bottle and taking it to hang out with friends or coming in for an event. And, you know, ultimately we said we want people to leave our space with Lifted Spirits. Hopefully a bottle of Lifted Spirits and their own spirits lifted. So that's kind of where that all came from. And then as far as the branding and whatnot, we actually just redid the logo in the last couple weeks based on how the story has evolved, and we wanted to really reflect the agricultural, the natural, the tradition, but also with a very modern, clean feel to it. So I think that's how we ended up there.
Good morning. Steve Stryker with a question. Hard business question. End of year one, after you distill and pay the federal government for drop one of your production, mm-hmm. What's going to be the total projected case shipped? And here's the hard question. How many cases have to be shipped to show profitability for this enterprise?
Drops the mic.
That is an excellent question. So with our current equipment, we've got capacity to produce a little over 4,000 bottles per month. We probably will not start off quite that aggressively, and there are some other variables like tasting room sales of cocktails, for instance, event rentals. So those are things that we expect that will supplement our revenue in the first year while we are ramping up the actual distribution.
You're in the distillation business. Forget that business. How many are you going to ship at the end of 12 months? What are you telling the alcohol department, the alcohol bureau, and what do you have to ship? What do you have to ship to show profit? Do you know that? If you don't know that, say it.
We do know that, but it's been a few weeks since we visited those numbers, and I'm not sure that we're prepared to share that publicly at this point.
Are you prepared? Do you think you'll be able to make that inside of 3 years? You show profitability for this business?
We've got our break even somewhere between 18 and 26 months. Yeah.
All right, one right back here, guys.
If you want more detail.
Yeah.
Absinthe makes the heart grow crazy. I thought absinthe made you go crazy, so I'd like to hear about that. I thought that this was a division of Church of the Resurrection because I thought it was a church. So I'm wondering if you should put Distillery underneath it, because when I noticed your sign in front of the great building, Distillery's huge, and you've got your name is really, really tiny. So, and I joined a wine club called Lot 18 where they send things out so lot18.com, check them out. They're doing wine all over the country.
Yeah.
I love that you're in the East Crossroads. I go there once a month for First Friday. So I'd encourage you not to just work with some artists, is commit every month and have a show. And so then the pitch and ink will write about who the artist is, and you will draw in 20 to 40,000 people, especially in the busy months,
Yes.
to come to your space. I mean, Butch is running a movie theater down there.
Yeah.
The Late Show Gallery. I mean, you're just in a prime location, so good for you. But talk about crazy.
Well, I'll go through some of those backwards, I think. I'll start with artists.
Let's go to absinthe.
This
I think that's a
first.
fun story.
I figured most interesting would be last, so they get waken up again. That was really dismissive of your question. Wow. So absinthe and crazy is a myth, but it's a myth based in reality. So right?
Hear 'em out. Hear 'em out.
It's the same as moonshine can make you go blind. Also not true. So absinthe makes you go crazy. What happened with absinthe is traditionally prepared absinthe, whether it was created by France or Switzerland, they're still fighting about it. When it's prepared botanically, correctly, everything, it's a fantastic herbal spirit that produces great reactions in your body. The herbs are great for you. They interact well in the drink. They taste fantastic. It is high alcohol, so if you consume a lot of it, well, there's a lot of alcohol. But the botanicals, not going to make you hallucinate, not going to make you go crazy. What happened when it was popular in France, I'm going quick, less than reputable distillers, instead of coloring their absinthe green with botanicals like you're supposed to, were using other byproducts of distilling in copper that had similar effects to lead poisoning. And so people were getting sick, and with long-term exposure, were going crazy. And so everyone blamed the green devil, is what they called it, and instead of the green fairy, it turned to the green devil, and absinthe was no more for a while.
Which route are you going?
I am definitely going to make people crazy and poisoning them.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just easier. What can I say? It's about profit.
All right, guys, so we've reached the end, and now the big question. What can we as a community do to help you?
So we are definitely looking to start connecting with restaurant and bar owners and managers to set up times so that we can come in and do tastings, bring people into our space so that they can experience what we're doing and kind of see our story, so that when we are ready to hit the market, we can already have some of those relationships in place locally. We're also looking for a handful of investors to help cover cost of inventory, as we're putting whiskey in barrels and that sort of thing. So you can reach out to us here, or you can go to Distilling KC, get in touch, and thank you so much. And then you guys probably want to know who's going to win those glasses and stuff. So,
So while he does that, I'm going to recite poetry.
oh no.
I'm
How
kidding, I'm
about
not
I
doing
do
that.
the announcements?
I like that. Sounds way better. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Great job. Okay, while Kyle is getting our big winner together, a couple announcements for you all. We have some events taking place in Kansas City. First, today at ECJC, Co-working Wednesdays is happening until 4:30 today, so just pop on over there for Co-working Wednesdays. They also have a Capital Series event starting at 11, and the event is centered around Q&A and really mastering the art of presenting. So that should be good. Go to ecjc.com to register for that. And again, head on over today. The big breakfast will be Thursday, March 24th, 7:30 in the morning. That's going to be with Thinking Bigger magazine. All the entrepreneurs that have been featured on the cover will be sharing their story, giving advice. That should be a good event as well. Coffee and Collisions at Think Big, Thursday, March 24th. That'll start at 8:30 in the morning. And then Launch Code, we have a couple things going on. Our big KC liftoff is going to be Monday the 28th at 5:30 here at Kaufman over in Town Square. So if you're interested in learning more about what we're doing, please give our Eventbrite a look. Come register. We'd love to have you. It's going to be a great event. Could be booze there, just saying. And also our free 16-week coding class registration is open. So if you go to launchcode.org/CS50X, if you're interested in learning how to code, that's going to be at UMKC on Monday and Wednesday evenings starting April 13th. So give that a look as well. And Kyle, do you have a winner?
We have 3 winners.
Three winners.
Darren, the glasses. Okay, so 2 glasses go to Be Functional. If Be Functional is Twitter handle, Be Functional. Anyone? No? Must be present to win. C. Chapman 711.
Oh, Courtney!
2 glasses to Courtney.
You bet. Congratulations.
2 glasses to Savvy Monkey. Do we have Savvy Monkey here?
Savvy Monkey.
Savvy Monkey is your Twitter handle for sale.
Moving on to Cherry Figgins.
Nice! Thank you. That's awesome, guys. And keeping with the theme of prizes, we'd
And
like
2 tickets, 2 VIP tickets to be announced pre-launch event for KC Chiefs Gal 53.
Casey Chiefs gal.
Did Twitter just like explode?
People want those glasses.
That's me.
That's the last of the tweets we have.
I'll take them. And
Yeah,
really,
we can announce at the end here.
okay, we're
Sweet.
gonna find somebody awesome to get those tickets to. And for Mug Club, if you've been here 10 or more times, please raise your hand or stand up. Let's stand up. Beautiful. If you have, wait, stay standing still. If you have not received a mug, please stay standing. Okay, so what do you think, Milton? You're really good at this. KC, blue hat, you're our big winner. Come on up. And if you could, you're going to get this awesome 1 Million Cups mug. Share with us really quick why you come to 1 Million Cups.
Hey, I'm Alex. I'm from Germany. I'm in the US and I'm kind of bored and love entrepreneurship and startups. I have a startup in Germany and I really love KC so far and I like the community. So that's why I'm here I have the hat, so that's why I'm here every Wednesday morning.
Great, thanks Alex, appreciate it. Okay, great. And now we're ready for our second presenter. I'd like to welcome up Laura with Qbox, and she's all the way here from Spain. So let's give her a warm welcome.
I'm Laura Jebremowicz. I'm the CEO of QBox. QBox is a revolutionary construction system in cardboard that we have developed and patented internationally with a wide range of applications. Furniture, construction and pedagogical games for children, displays, exhibition, packaging, many things. QBox is a product that it's got a wide range of applications that we're aiming at with four lines of product. QBox Home, QBox Game, QBox Show, and QBox World. QBox Home. Imagine having all the furniture of a room in a box. Imagine transforming a chair into a table with just one movement. Imagine that the boxes that transport books can transform when open into the book itself. All that is QBox Home. Recyclable, light, and easy to store and transport, QBox is essentially a system of boxes that come one inside the other and can, when open and combined between them, allow for the constructions of every kind of structures, special structures, furniture, and games, whatever. It is made of corrugated cardboard, and it resists more than 120 kilograms. It's very resistant. If you fit, it resists thanks to its optimized design, and it needs no adhesive. It is you can mount it yourself very easily. It is, okay. And then we have QBox Game. This is QBox Home. This is QBox Game. QBox Game is developed for the smallest in the family, and it are different kits that contain several modules, with you can make towers, stars, furniture for the dolls, everything you can imagine. QBox Game is supported and condecorated by educational institutions that has been our first clients. We have an app with which you can create also virtually, so that children can design in the app with the tablet or the computer and then make it real with QBox Game. QBox is supported and condecorated by educational institutions, and it develops motor skills, spatial vision, and among all, creativity. This is in Kansas City in Science Center. We can make we have different sizes, different scales, so we can make huts, we can make big three-dimensional structures, or we can make figures, and also we have developed also this product just now, which is the food pyramid with the same system, and you can make a food monster pyramid with this QBox and make menus and everything. It's a product that allows also to include educational contents in it. You can make many things, like with the boxes, you can make a chess or different games. As you can change the printing, you can do many things with it. This is the food pyramid. This is another example that you can make a figure, and then you can have chairs for the children. For the schools, they can put they can make it for the children to put their things in the school, to decorate, to customize their own selves at the schools. It has many possibilities. We can also join them with special cardboard pieces or with mechanical screws too, to allow even more constructions. Qbox Show is Qbox to make exhibitions, fairs, displays, shop windows, packaging. These are some examples. This for resting zones, for fairs. You can make letters with it, with our app, with our free app that you can get in the Apple Store or Play Store. You can design all this very easily and customize it with your designs. Here are some examples of three-dimensional structures. These are the cardboard pieces that we develop them in different sizes, also for the big, for the small. This is another example of Qbox Show. And this is Qbox World. It's Qbox, as it's very light and easy to store and transport and 100% recyclable when its life comes to an end. It's very good for sustainable development projects and basic furniture for emergency situations. And we made some contests in Spain, and you have a publicity of the contest that we're making now for the children to design the sides of the furniture that we are sending for these projects. And this is the contest we made last year, and these are the winners. So you can see how beautiful they were designed and give you ideas for this next, that you have the publicity there. This was for the Oslo Triennale, which was a product where immigrants could have in these boxes all their belongings, and then they could show it in the street for the people and resting there and show them like all their belongings. Because Qbox started as an idea to make that the boxes with which you transport your belongings from one place to another could be the furniture itself when it's open. So we made also this project. This is Qbox Apps, the application that we have to combine virtual and real. And these are some things that you can make with Qbox Apps. These were like to taste the winning design of the last contest. You can taste it there, and so you can see how you can customize the product in case like for shows or for packaging or whatever. You can use our app and taste the designs. And I think that's it. Wait, I'm going to get some water.
Thank you. Yeah, those visuals actually helped a lot. So I guess my question, it's interesting to me with essentially one product, how you have 4 business lines. So how do you manage the focus around those different lines? And are you seeing any larger return for any one business line?
Our problem is that we can make many things with Qbox. It's a construction system. So we have made these lines. We are concentrated in the game line, in the children's line, and in the show line. Not so much in the furniture because we are producing in Spain. We want to produce in the place where we sell because to avoid the transportation cost and as a philosophy. Of course, if we work with Africa or with developing countries, we have to produce in China. But we are concentrated in those lines, in the children's and the show, because for the furniture, we still don't have a big production enough to lower the prices, so we make customized furniture. So it's very good for business, for shows, for fairs, events, and packaging, that they need this packaging. We are focusing in show and in game, which are the lines that are giving us more response and more money. We have this QBox show. It's a project. QBox World is a project that we want to. We have done everything. We have like the project done. We need the money. We need a bank or a big business that want to help us with this product. But we are not concentrating in it. We are concentrating more in the show business and the game business with the schools, because it's the children from 3 to 14, they love it. It can adapt to many different pedagogical situations, for the small, for the biggest, to make big things, to decoration, and also for the business. It's very good because they have very big orders. That is what we need. We have internet selling, but this is starting. We are doing pretty well because it's a product that attracts a lot of people, and it's very visual, very happy, very colorful, and people likes it very much, and it's something new. But we, of course, our best incomes come from the schools or from business that order like 1,000, 200,000, things like that.
We have an interesting contrast of presenters this morning. You know, the Lifted Spirits is banking on the fact of a local business model, understanding Kansas City and connecting with Kansas City at a deep level, and being a lifelong Kansas City. And I often tell people that when it comes to Kansas City, I understand this city, but if you get me, you know, especially outside the United States, I really don't understand culture and business in other communities. So here you are, you have a business model. I had a chance to talk with you, Laura, beforehand. You've been running this business in Spain for 2 years. You've had success there, and now you're looking to go international, and you're looking to come into the United States market. And with the partnership with the City of Kansas City, Missouri, and the EDC, you're choosing Kansas City as a home to bring into the U.S. market. I'm curious what it looks like for you to take a business model that you know works in a country like Spain and come into a new country. What are some of the things you're doing to position the business for success in a new country?
Well, what we try to do if we go to a new country is to make some publicity. We have made this contest now. I don't really understand. The question was, why did I choose Kansas, or how am I?
No, just what it's like to take a business that's been successful in a country like Spain and understanding what adaptations you might need to make to bring success in another country such as the United States.
We think that our model is not very local. That is not that, and that things are not like they work in Spain and maybe they don't work or you have to do things in another way. I think that it will be more positive, my business model here, than in Spain, because here the people are more used to make internet shopping, which in Spain is not that much. And also the economy here is going up, and in Spain and Europe is going down. So people have more money. Of course, I have to still know how to get into the different channels that I'm getting in Spain, with like the schools or business, and to contact the media and everything. But I think basically it doesn't change much. It won't change much. I will see that when I'm here.
I'm curious to know, so it seems like a pretty sustainable product. What is the aftermath? You know, once you're producing all these boxes, do you help connect them with recycling, with
Yes, we have. After we have a recycled product. We are in contact with different institutions in Spain that you need in Europe, because in Europe we have like more controls for this, and you have to put a recycle sign. You have to recycle every year all the packets that you are supposed to sell and everything. And here it's not need to. Like the CE code. So we are in contact with recycling companies that carry these things on. But our product is all recycled, like even the label, it's cardboard. We just have this tiny protection. That is what we have to recycle with these companies, you know. But
we also want to open it up to the audience for questions. If you've got a question, raise your hand. I see we've got 2 down here in the front. Let's start with you.
Hello. I own a co-working space in Waldo called Co-work Waldo, and 2 of the things is I need flexible furniture and furniture that I can move myself, just by myself. And so this actually is pretty cool, I think, for that kind of application. You might look at different furniture companies to partner with, like Turnstone is very, the chair right behind you is a Turnstone chair. Something like that might be a good partnership.
Okay.
I have a question in the back.
So do you currently have any manufacturing companies here in the United States, or are you still looking for companies that will develop the product? You'd mentioned the comment that you wanted to be able to develop the product in whatever country that you were selling it in. So do you have any connections here for manufacturing companies?
Yes, I did some connections, and I'm still working with that because I was about to manufacture here for some months ago for an event in the Science Center, but finally we couldn't manage, but we are working on that. I'm looking for different manufacturing companies here in Kansas, which I think is a very hot point because it's in the center of the United States, and I think it's a very good place to manufacture and then to send all around the States.
We've got another question here in the front.
Until today, is this on? Until today, I thought the only humanitarian emergency situation I ever had was at an airport in the bathroom where I needed some toilet paper. But, could I get somebody to hand me something? So your energy's great, your English is great. You are in Kansas City, which is in Missouri, and there's also on the Kansas side. So you're going to want to know about that. I've never heard of extension .mobi. I don't know if you're right about the internet is the way people order in America, and if people have never heard of that, maybe there's another .com way you can.
I do have.
You have another. Okay, good.
We have, but as our company name was Qbox, when I registered it, it was not available qbox.com. So I got qboxemax.com and then qbox.mobi, which I liked. I know it's a strange extension, and I really had lots of arguing with my partners about this because on one way, people get strange because it's still not known, but as it's related with the furniture and with the mobility, I like it, how it sounds. But then we have this qboxemax.com, and I don't know. Let's see what is stronger, because I like .mobi, but we have qboxemax.com, which are the same.
And there's qboxkc.com. I'm sure that's available. Talk about how you get the color on the boxes, and also I've bought some tubes down in the West Bottoms. Have you thought about adding a round dimension to your design platform?
Round dimension? Like a tube. Oh yes, it was Tubebox. That instead of Qbox. But as this product can be also made like a Tubebox, but that's too much. We are concentrating now in this Qbox that has many possibilities, and then we can make it with other shapes and that as well. Yeah.
Question on your left.
Can you talk a little bit about your pricing as far as like what's a Qbox game cost or what's a typical chair cost?
We have prices from €1 to what you want to spend. Like our production, as we are a young company, is not very big. We have made small productions, but this product, we sell it in the web. It's like $20, something like that. And we have also things that are like one chair, not this big, like in the middle of this, like this box, which is $10. Like the chair or a shelf. It can be a chair, a table, like it can be like a chair, also a table like this, or a shelf. You can do or like a bank like this, like this, also to see it. So you can do many things with this. And this is €10. We have from €15. We have the big one, the big game, which is 26 pieces, which is this one that comes with a chair and other 24 pieces. We are selling it €60, which is like $55 or $56 with the shipping included. But we have small production, and we produce in Spain, and we produce with a very good quality. So I think our prices are great, and they could be even better. So we are a very young company. We just have 1.5 years, but like since I made the first product till this last one, with the first product with Qbox game, 26 pieces, I had not so big margin. With this I do. I can sell it. We sell it $20, but it costs me, I'm not going to tell you, but it's a lot cheaper for me now. Like so with this one, with the first ones, I didn't have so big margin, but we are getting smarter and we know how to make it. And even with small productions, we have good prices, which I think is very fun.
We have a question in the back.
How are you positioned to handle any political instability that might happen in Spain if it broke apart into separate countries?
Sorry, I don't understand very well.
The secession.
The secession.
In Barcelona for the vote. What would that do to impact your business?
We produce this in, but it won't. That won't happen, I think. But but this is produced in Barcelona, and this is produced in Madrid. I don't know. It won't happen at all. This is something ridiculous. And if it happens, it won't affect me at all because probably I will be here or somewhere.
I have a question for you in the back. Can you talk a little bit more about your entrepreneurial journey, what you were doing before you developed Qbox?
I'm an architect, and I teach also in the education university. I correct the final thesis, innovation thesis from the people that are becoming teachers. And I used to work as an architect by myself all my life since I finished the studies. And I work as a constructor as well, which make me very easy after to develop these things, after making buildings, after constructing. This is a lot easier, small.
Laura, we want to thank you so much. You apparently got in 24 hours ago from Spain and are here presenting today, so we just want to thank you so much for coming and doing that. Typically, before we close, we ask one final question, and that is, as a community, what can we do to help you?
You could, of course, go into my website, in the social media, Facebook and Instagram, to see what we are doing, talk to your friends, buy our products, and maybe just make suggestions for partners, because we're looking for American partner, distributors, and any help, any ideas that you can have will be very welcome.
All right, thank you so much, Laura. Let's give her a hand of applause. We want to thank everyone for coming out today. Just a couple of quick things. Next week, we will have Business Instruments presenting and Contra Software. And I believe we still have one more winner to announce. Is that correct? From Lifted Spirits?
Yes, I'll do that. So my internet disconnected, so I thought nobody was tweeting at all. I apologize. I think bigger. We have a winner.
All right. Want to thank you all for coming out. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place.